diamonds in the sky. Too so alone. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Oh, 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 oh. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Oh, 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 oh. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. You know that song's stuck in my freaking head now? I'm dead ass. You know, I have to say this, man. To anybody who cares to watch this video, whether it's now or later, hence the candy now or later, hence the candy now or later. A word of advice to the wise, man. Avoid the gossip columns and avoid the drama. Simple as that, bro. I've been watching some YouTube videos the last couple days, man. There's been like a lot of like shit going on around YouTube. Not going to give any names specific, but I was watching like a couple videos here and there. And I get it. You want to make time go by and you get in these little groups and stuff and you gossip and stuff like that. I get it. But man, I'll tell you this. Don't get involved in that gossip shit, man, on YouTube, bro. Or just in general. Just stay as far away from it as possible, man. I'm telling you, guys be a lot better off avoiding the drama, man. Why do you think that I just stick to myself? I like do my own content. There's a reason for it. Because I stay out of these little like gossip echo chambers around YouTube, man. Your best bet, stay away from it, man. Like I said, I can do fine on my own. Making my own content. Whoever comes to my channel, can come to my channel and watch my shit, man. I'm just saying, it's a lot more healthier if... Oh, I just heard my back pop. It's a lot more healthier if you just avoid the drama, man. Avoid the little gossip echo chambers. Because I've been peeping videos out on YouTube from like other communities I'm a part of. And like, they get in these little like group chats. And they'll start like gossiping about other YouTubers or other people. And I'm like, it's just, I get it. You're just trying to make time go by. It's just, makes time go by faster. I can tell you this though. Sooner or later, it's just going to circle itself back around. So like these group of people are going to talk shit about these people. And then, you'll leave the room and then other people then are going to talk shit about you. And then it's just going to keep going and going in circles. That's why I avoid these little like Google Hangouts and stuff with other YouTubers that are in there. Because it's usually like a lot of people just talking about one or two people. So like what I do is I just avoid it, And that's the best advice that I can give you. That's why I do my own content. Like I just kind of just stick to myself and if you like my channel, you can come to my shit. And if you don't, you're welcome to find, other people to watch. Now, yes, do I do controversy videos from time to time? Absolutely. I'll do my politics rants or I'll do rants about the economy and stuff. But that's not really gossip. That's more so the discussion of like where our country is going. But it's, that's one thing, But you got all these people on here that are like, got these little internet discussions going on and everyone's going at it with each other. It's just, nonsense, man. You know? And just the best advice to give to you is just to avoid the gossip and drama, man. You avoid the gossip, you avoid the drama. You know? There's other ways to make time go by in a day. You know, other productive things you can do. You don't have to necessarily engage in those conversations. You know, why do you think I don't go in these hangouts? Because I know for a fact what it's going to be. I know for a fact what's going to happen. It's just going to be, you know, walk in a room, they're talking about somebody, then that person confronts you. It's just not healthy, man. It's not a healthy way to live, man. But anyways, on a side note, I'll be in Dallas on the 1st of November. Now that's going to be fun. I will be in Dallas on the 1st of November. Now we'll be there till the 7th. So I'll be there till following Thursday. So yay me. I'm saying y'all gonna stress yourselves out, involving yourselves in these little gossip echo chambers. You gotta be very careful, man. The old saying goes, and I believe firmly in this: whoever goes around comes around, and that's the truth. So if y'all may be gossiping about one or two people, and sooner or later it's gonna happen to you. It's not a matter if, it's a matter of when. Now, do people talk shit about me? Probably. I wouldn't cross my mind if they do, and they are entitled to do that, by the way, because you know they do have that First Amendment right. Who am I to tell them what they can and can't say? But I personally don't involve myself in the conversations of gossiping about other people, because eventually it's just gonna make you look just as guilty. So I just say fuck it. I just keep to myself. And you know, if they want to mention me, they're more than welcome to. They can say whatever they want, and it is what it is. I hold no ill, no will. It's their First Amendment right, but I'm just not going to personally engage in it myself. This is not a healthy way. Now, have I probably gotten involved in gossip chambers before? Probably in my younger days, absolutely. But I phased myself away from those conversations. You know, like especially in the workplace, is very common in the workplace. You know, you go to work and people are trying to pass that 8 hours a day and shit, and they're trying to make time go by, and they're stuck in their cubicle or something, you know, for the next 8 hours or 10 hours or whatever the case may be. And then all of a sudden, like, you know, they'll start saying, hey, you know, Jeremy did this or Sarah did this and fucking Fred Flintstone did this and Barney Rubble did this. And did you see what fucking Tom and Jerry did? And then it's just, you know, and then so you probably leave the room because you think they're all your friends. And then, you know, they'll say, hey, psst, this person was talking shit about you. And then the person that was talking shit about you go up to you and say, psst, the other person was talking shit about you. And then they'll point at the person who snitched on you, and then the other person said it. And it goes into a big, like, kind of like this circle jerk of, like, gossipers. And it's like, now, does it mean that they mean what they say? Maybe, maybe not. You know, maybe some of it may be even true. You know, maybe some of the things people are saying are true. But regardless of whether it's true or not, or whether they meant to say it or they're just trying to make time go by, the point is you shouldn't involve yourself in it. That's the point that I want to make. Because it's just, it is what it is. It's, you know, I get it. Humans will always be humans, and that'll never go away. But at the same time, just don't involve yourself in that shit. It's just not healthy, you know? It's just, you know, I'm not saying you can't make friends. I'm not saying you can't be productive. I'm not saying you know, you can't have conversations and, you know, be outgoing and, you know, have fun and, you know, get to know people. And, you know, I'm not saying you can't fraternize, socialize with people, but you go around and you start little gossiping echo chambers, understand, a matter of time, it's going to come back. Like, you think that when you and your friends are gossiping about people, you don't think that that's not happening right back at you? It's like when you point your finger at somebody, right? And then you point your index finger at them, and then like three fingers are pointing back in the thumb or something like that. Like that old saying. It's like kind of like that. It's like, you know, you don't think that somebody's not gossiping about you. Now you're gonna say, well, two wrongs don't make a right, and if they do it, then I have every right to do it myself. And I'm like, tomato, tomato. Yeah, absolutely. You know, people talk about you, think, oh, well, you know, but then again, if you do follow that principle, understand that that makes you know better. Not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying that it just doesn't make you. It makes you just as guilty. You can no longer say, you know, hey, you know, this person gossiped about me, so I'm gonna gossip about him or her to my other friends or these other people, and it evens itself out. And I'm like, well, it just makes both of you pieces of shit. Congratulations. You know, it's you know, it makes you just as guilty. Actually, now they actually have a reason to confront you now. Because when it comes down to it, they're going to be like, oh shit, now I'm going to come charge you up now because you were talking shit. So it's just an unhealthy situation. You know, it's just better to just keep your mouth shut and go to your work or whatever, or you know, or even on YouTube, because they do it a lot too on this platform. You know, so you have to be kind of very careful of how these conversations take place, you know, because then, you know, it starts getting all carried away and stuff, and people start saying, hey, you know, this person, and the next thing you know, the next hour you got like 8 people in the room like talking about 1 or 2 individuals. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like gets kind of old after a while, you think. So the best way I do it is I just try to avoid that shit. That's why, like, you know, I'm very selective on who I bring on my channel from a collaboration standpoint. And if you look at all my videos, when we collab, it's either about the economy, end of the world, astronomy, you know, good movies to watch, or just random talks about life. Like, not necessarily about people in a bad way, you know, unless we're covering politics and shit like that. And that's sort of another topic. But when it comes to, like, you know, gossiping about, you know, certain people, just gets to the point to where it's like, okay, well, you know, I mean, it may be true. Let's just say, you know, okay, for sake of argument, that maybe what you're saying is true, but you just got to be very careful at the same time, because, you know, the old saying goes, whatever goes around comes around. You know, I give criticism about people when it comes to like business decisions, especially if they make poor business choices. I'm very critical on that. As to be respected, I would expect them to be the same towards me. If they felt like I was acting unethical when it came to business decisions, because there's money involved, and that's a little bit more of an understanding. It's like, hey, I don't mind you criticizing me if you feel I'm making poor choices in terms of financial means. I have no problem with you calling me out on that. Or if I'm doing something unethical, then that's understandable. But it's a difference between that and people that just go on these little gossip chambers and just gossip for no reason. You know, like, and then they'll make shit up. They'll start adding shit to it, and they'll say, "Oh, we heard this," and I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck? Like, I never said that, or I never did that." And it's like, so like, you know, you'll say a rumor about somebody, right? And then they'll say it to the other person, and somewhere along the line, that rumor, people start adding shit in, or they'll start taking shit out, and then just adding their own little narrative in there. So then all of a sudden, then that rumor travels around. At that point, it's not even true anymore, or it's completely over exaggerated or fabricated or distorted in some way. And so now you're like having to address a rumor that is at this point not even true, or just highly over exaggerated, or maybe half the truth. And it's just better you just keep your goddamn mouth shut. I mean, how hard is it to not, you know, go to work and keep your fucking mouth shut, or go to like these echo chamber places and say the minimum? You know, I get it. You want to make time go by. I understand that, you know, But there are other productive ways to make time go by than to go this route. You know what I'm saying? And, YouTube, it's a good place to meet people and stuff, to have these conversations, to get all these Google Hangouts. And another thing is when they start engaging in these type of conversations where it's like 8 people gossiping about one person. It's like, dude, like, I mean, what the fuck is this? You know? So, I just thought that I'd make this point. You know what I'm saying? Um, impossible so bad out here. Let's go ahead and read the comments. I got a bunch of comments coming in. Ooh. Go work on cars. Girls on a guide ends badly. If YouTube, who cares if you're venting, but at work, never gossip, please. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree. For a guy, if you're gossiping about another guy, that can end a sock in the jaw. Best thing is not to get involved. Let's be real. Adults are not going to do that unless they want to catch a charge. Yeah, possibly. What's up? Well, that's good, man. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I go on YouTube in particularly, right? And I see a lot of this shit happening, man. And I sit back and I watch these videos. And, even if, let's say, that it doesn't lead to fighting, it's just, at the end of the day, you're just going to have all these, like major problems. You know what I'm saying? And eventually you're going to kind of feel a little guilty because you're going to be like, wait a minute. Yeah, I was taking, I was participating in it, So you kind of like, it has guilt and it kind of wears on your mind. That's why I said it's just better just not to get involved. If you want to criticize someone on their bad choices based on like financial decisions or something, that's understandable. But when it's, just gossip for nothing and just making shit up, yeah, it's not healthy. It's not a healthy lifestyle. It's just, I get it. You want to make your time go by, but it's like, there are times where I have to, like even I would address rumors that people will come up and ask me like certain rumors about me. And I'm like, okay, that was true, but that part wasn't true. I don't know who like made that lie up, but I definitely didn't do that or didn't say that. But the first part was true, but the rest of that was totally fabricated. But again, when it comes to like rumors, it travels from one person to another, and then eventually somebody just adds their own shit in there, or they'll leave shit out, and they'll make the rumor half distorted or half truth, or maybe even possibly not even true after the fact. Somewhere down the line, it gets kind of dragged through the mud. Does that make sense? So it's just best just not to get involved in that shit, man. And then it makes you look just as bad as the person you're talking about. Even if, let's say, for the sake of argument, it's true what you're saying. Like, let's say, let's just say, you said this like about this person breaking rules or something, right? Like breaking, like let's say if you're like, hey, this person is coming late to work every day, which that is possible, that is true, that can happen, but then like you come late to work too all the time, but it's not a big deal when you do it, and that's where like the issue kind of comes right there when it's like, it's one thing if like the person you're criticizing come to work late, but if you do the same, you really have no room to talk. And that's kind of like the point that I'm going with this. It's like, or like, if it's like, hey, this person's a pillhead and he's an alcoholic, but you also do pills too. You see what I'm saying? You kind of see where I'm going with that. It's like, it's kind of like, not calling the kettle black, but it's like, you're trying to downplay like your situation to make it not look as bad as the person who's going kind of through the same thing. And you kind of see similar cases of that. That's why it's just best just not to get involved, man. I'm telling you, it's just not healthy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could talk politics all day. It's not a big deal. Like if I criticize a certain individual candidate, it's based on their policies, not them as an individual person. Now, did I criticize Jimmy Haslam the other night? about the whole rebate scam that he did, that he's a shitty fucking business owner and a terrible businessman? Absolutely. And I went through a whole like segment of that. But what I was saying was actually true. He was running a rebate scam and he was ripping off truck drivers. That was the truth. That wasn't that was in factual true. And it was all over the news. You know, like he's a terrible businessman. That's the point that I'm making, you know? And it was true. So it's not gossip if, let's say, it's the truth, but the point that I'm making is when you get in these little chambers and you're like, oh, Susan gave head to this guy and stuff, and she's a hoe, and this guy did this, and it's like, this is kind of a little unnecessary, you know? Like, what is the whole point of this, you know? And you just kind of like start just dragging people through the mud like that. It just gets to a point to where it's like, what is the motive in this case? Well, my motive last night was to tell Browns fans not to support Jimmy Haslam anymore. That was the point that I was saying, is don't buy tickets, don't show up to the game, and don't support this criminal. That's the point that I was making. You know, if you continue to support him, then you're just guilty. You're buying the tickets, you're going to the game. You know, but when you're just sitting there dragging somebody through the mud and saying, oh, they're blowing this guy, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck does it matter to you to like drag somebody through the mud like that? Like, even if it was true, like what's the point of that? Like what is the purpose of that? So there's no purpose of what you're saying. You know, it's just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. But that's just my personal thoughts on it. Yes, I'm laying here. Yes, I feel good. Yes, I'm, kind of like just laying here or whatever. And it was funny because I remember I went to work one time. It was probably about a couple months back, and I remember my supervisor was like, "Hey, man, like I hear your name mentioned a lot," and I said, "Oh, really? That's cool." And I said, "So, is it good or bad?" And he said, "Well, some good, some bad." And they basically, like my politics talks, they said that I need to tone it down at work about politics. And I said, okay. So I stopped, right? That was fair criticism. They don't want to hear my end of the world conspiracy theory. So I said, okay, I will no longer engage in those conversations. I actually did stop. I haven't spoken about it since about 2 months ago. So I dropped the politics talk. And then, of course, some other shit they added in there that wasn't true. And I'm like, okay, well, that part wasn't true. I never said or did this. But the politics talk, that was true. Because I do kind of go on like mini rants about it. Because I OCD over that shit. Because I believe in a lot of the stuff I say about it. That's why. So, I said, okay, that part is true. But the rest of the stuff they added in was not true. And so anyways, that's the problems when rumors start to go around, is people start to just add shit in, and they'll start adding and they'll try to spin it off and say, oh, well, this is what happened, but it's not true. So, again, and on YouTube, it's the same thing, these little like gossip chambers, and they'll just gossip, and then somebody will leave the room, and then they'll start gossiping about that person. I'm like, well, damn, wasn't that person just in the fucking room? And y'all already gossiping about that motherfucker? I wasn't even out 5 seconds. And y'all already gossiping about that person. Oh, God damn. And it's just like, but I get it. You want to make time go by. I get it. It's a spur of the moment and stuff. But you just got to be very careful, because it just doesn't paint a good picture. If, let's say, if it kind of spun around and it happened to you, you're not going to like it. And then you're going to confront somebody or charge them up. And then they're going to say, okay, well, what about when you did it on these dates? And here's the footage, or here's the proof that you said this. And then it just kind of makes you look like a clown, because it's like, okay, well, you just engaged in it the week before. And here's the footage to show your dumb ass doing it on YouTube. And they have the footage to prove it, because the live stream is still up from those conversations. And it just makes you look like a clown, because then you're like, confronting somebody when you should be getting confronted too simultaneously. It's like kind of like you both punch each other at the same time and you get knocked the fuck out. Like, you ever seen those fights where people will like it's like a very rarity, but people will throw the same punch at the same time and they knock each other the fuck out? It's like on bloopers or something. You'll see shits like that, like in MMA and stuff. It's kind of like something like that. Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. And it's like, I get it. Everybody's gonna formulate their own opinion at the end of the day. They're gonna think, about this about a person. That's okay. You don't have to like anybody. You know, um, you're not entitled to like have people like you. And that's one thing that I understand now in life is that it doesn't matter how nice you are, because people don't have to like you. If they choose not to like you, that's their decision. It has to be respected, by the way. Even though in society it's kind of like, well, if somebody doesn't like you, you gotta kind of like try to force them to like you and make them like you, and I'm gonna fix you and make you like me. It's like, man, you wasting all your energy on that dumb shit. When it's like, what's the point of doing all that? It's like, if they don't want to like you for whatever reason, whether it's legit or not, they're entitled to not like you, even if they don't have a reason. But you just have to respect that decision. But the point is what I'm making is that, when it comes to like the gossip and stuff, it doesn't make it look healthy. And it's just like, and it's like sometimes I'll sit in a room with coworkers, and this has happened with all the previous jobs I had, and they will just gossip and gossip and gossip about other coworkers. And it's like I'm sitting there listening, and I'm not even saying anything, and they're just going on and on and on, and this is going on for hours sometimes. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, oh my, I mean, don't you have anything else better to do to make your time go by than to do this dumb shit? And I was just like, I sat in a room about a month ago, and there was like 5 people in there, and they're gossiping about all the other workers, and I'm just listening, and I'm like, I didn't say anything. I'm just going through my lunch kit, taking my lunch out, and just kind of eating on it a little bit here and there. And I don't say anything. I kind of like just pretend like I'm not listening, but you can still kind of listen because you're sitting there. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. And then, I know if I get up to go to the bathroom, they're probably going to start talking about me next. So I just like, fuck it. I already know what's going to happen. So I might as well just, deal with it. But the point that I'm making is just like, of all the things you could do to find time to make time go by, this is the only like option for most people is just to gossip. It makes no sense. It's just an unhealthy way of conducting yourself, and it just makes you look foolish, because eventually it's just going to get back to the other people, and then when they come and charge you up, you're looking like an idiot because you said it, but then you want to deny it to make yourself look cool, and it just doesn't look healthy. It's just unhealthy. I mean, I get it, you don't want to get your ass kicked, or you just don't want to get confronted because you're kind of embarrassed, but it's just like, how about just don't engage in it at all? How about that? Like, just don't get involved. Like, even if 9 people in the room are talking shit and you're the 10th person and you're kind of just sitting there and you're the oddball out, that doesn't mean, oh, well, 9 out of 10 are doing it. Well, that means I have to do it. No, not necessarily. You don't have to do anything. And in fact, it would be a lot better if you sit there and shut your fucking mouth and not say anything and just don't engage. I don't care if it's to pass 8 hours and you're bored and you're just trying to pass time. Just don't bother. It's just not healthy, man. I see a lot of people doing dumb shit like this, and it just creates a very frustrated environment, especially like in the workplace. This happens a lot, and there's times where I've seen people almost box over this shit. Like, step outside, open the door, motherfucker, and like they'll fucking, pull up and shit at work, and pull up in your spot, and it's just not healthy. And then, that's when like the divide starts, and then the cliques form. And then just when you thought it was safe in your own little clique, then they're talking shit about you. Like let's say you're like, man, I got 3 friends in this set. You got your little set or your little gang. I got my little set of 4 people, man. We good shit. We good. And then somebody comes around the corner like, psst, these people are talking shit about you, man. And you're like, ah, fuck. So you thought the people in your set were like your buddies, and then they went and gossiped about you to the other set of people that don't even like them or like you. So what you're seeing is people are just flip-flopping back and forth. They don't even know you don't even know whose side you're on anymore. That's why I say it's just better, just don't get involved in that shit. And listen, look, even I'm not involved in that shit, and I get gossiped on still, and I just think it's hilarious because I'm like, I don't even talk to these motherfuckers unless if it's work related or if we talk about sports, but nothing like personal. If it's like sports or work or something, maybe. And I cut the politics talk out, so I don't even talk politics. Only on YouTube I do that, and even then I toned it down as of recent. You know, but it's just better just not to get involved, man. It's just not healthy because then, people get resentments and stuff, and then that's where it starts building, and then they want to pull up on you at your spot. And I've seen this at all the jobs I've been at. I remember when I was in security, and the guards would talk about each other, and then this one guy will be like, "Man, I'm about to kick this guy's ass, man. He was talking shit about me." It's like, God damn, it's better just to avoid it. Just don't get involved, man. It's just not healthy. Having class and mind your own business goes a long way. Absolutely. Jimmy Haslam managed the art model Mindspace. I turned April 1989. Last time the Browns were in two cassette. I don't go on my personal info or cringe panels. Yeah, those drama panels are retarded. Absolutely, man. And that's the thing, man. Listen, I actually and I try to be as peaceful as possible. Now, you know, on YouTube, people say, "Well, you ramble a lot and you talk politics and all you do is gossip." And I'm like, not necessarily. When I criticize these candidates, I never take personal shots at their personal appearance or anything. I criticize their policies. That's just me criticizing their views on how the country should be ran. That's an opinionated discussion. That's not necessarily gossip. It's not like I said, "Hey, Donald Trump is having sex behind his wife's back, and here's the footage." Like, I don't care about that. You see what I'm saying? I don't gossip like that. And if Trump had 30 girlfriends, it's none of my business. I care about his policies. And it would be the same thing with Kamala Harris. They said she slept her way to the top. That's gossip. Let's say even if it's true, I could care less because she's probably not the only person that's done that. It's none of my concern. What my concern is what her viewpoints on how running the country is. And I don't necessarily agree with either one of them based on their viewpoints on how the country should be ran. That's just my opinion. That's not gossip. I'm not gossiping about their personal life. I could care less about their personal life. What I care about is how this country is going to be run after the November elections. Big difference. So sometimes I get carried away and I OCD and I like go on these long 4-hour rants like I did last night? Absolutely. Did I tell Jimmy Haslam that he can burn in hell in the afterlife? Absolutely. I did say that. Did I jump the gun a little bit? Yeah. Did I say that he ran a rebate scam on his minority truck drivers, and the management he hired was not only incompetent for Pilot J's, but they were also caught saying racist shit on camera? That actually was true because it was videotaped. That actually was true. That's not gossip. That was the truth, what I said about Jimmy Haslam. The only thing I was telling Browns fans was that if you're going to continue to go to the games and support this criminal, what do you think's going to happen? He's going to continue to put a bad product out. He's a bad business owner, and you're the clown at the end of the day if you continue to support it. It's like if you're in a bad relationship, the same analogy applies. You're in a bad relationship because you know that's someone that's no good for you, and you've identified the problem, and you're aware of the problem, and you tell your little friends and say, "Yeah, this person's a piece of shit that I'm with," and it's like, okay, that's fine. Maybe it's true, but then years go by, and it's the same story. Then who's the clown? You are. Because you continued to stay after the fact. So it's kind of your fault too. There's that self-accountability part. And that's, the point that I'm making. It's the same thing when it engages in gossip talk, because you're engaging in gossip talk. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, it's everything you're saying is exactly true about the person you're talking about. But after a while, and you go over and over and over again about the same gossip talk about pointless, relevant topics, and you try to convince yourself that it's important, but it's not really important about, someone's sex life or whatever. And you're like, okay, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? It's kind of like, okay, so now you're just gossiping about nonsense. And that's where it start, or if you start making shit up and you try to over exaggerate on some of the talking points, it just gets to a point to where you have to ask yourself, you know, what is the point? And especially when it comes to these group gossip panels, whether it's YouTube or the workplace, it's the same thing. Like when I run into it at work, it's no different than what I see on YouTube. And it's just like, I just sit there and, it's tempting to join in, but it's like, why? Like this is not a productive conversation. And then it's just, I know either way, whether you get involved or not, sooner or later, they're going to gossip about you. It's not a matter if, it's a matter of when. It's going to happen. But it's like, it's better to not get involved, because then your name's not going to be thrown in that conversation of gossipers. They're going to say, oh, Robert Smith's been gossiping again, about this person and this person. They're going to say the other names of the other people in the room, but they're not going to mention Robert Smith because Robert Smith was just being silent on the matter. It's just better that way. And what's the coolest way to know when people are talking shit about you? And this is, or if they mention your name in any way, shape, or form. When you walk in a room, and let's just say there's 4 people in the room or 5, and they're all talking, and all of a sudden it gets real quiet when you walk in there. You know what that means? That means they were just talking shit about you. Or they had talked shit about you the day before, and they think in their mind you found out. It's like a guilt conscious thing. Like they think, oh shit, this motherfucker knows. They're on pins and needles, like crossing their fingers, like, is he about to confront us? Is he about to get hood on us? Like, oh shit, this dude about to fucking charge us up. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to charge you up. Trust me, I could have charged half these motherfuckers up already, but I'm not going to do that because it doesn't make any logical sense. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. So I could really care less about, like, I don't hang out with y'all outside of work. So it's irrelevant. It's pointless to even confront you. These other guys, they'll confront each other and they'll make a big scene and they'll show out and act a fool, or they'll get ignorant, or they'll say, I'm going to act a clown. Well, go ahead. Go do that. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to act a clown in here. I don't really care. It's not that important to me. My importance is to rack up as many hours as I can, accumulate as many money as I can, get in, get out. That's it. Whatever happens after the fact. If you want to, form your little circle thing or whatever, that's cool. If you want to talk shit about me, at least just have the common courtesy to wait till I leave the room and go to my pod, and then you can then run your mouth. And that's cool. That's okay. It's no big deal. You want to make 8 hours go by, throw my name in the hat. It's my turn. I guess it's like kind of pulling your name out of a hat. Okay, whose turn is it to talk shit about now? Okay, we just pulled Rose's name. It's his turn. Okay, everybody, we got 8 hours to talk about Rose. Think of anything you could think of, and it's sort of like that. Sort of how the gossip chamber starts. So they'll, when your name gets pulled out and it's like, then they'll start these little gossip, and it's like, oh, okay. It's kind of funny. I was sitting in one of my office space areas the other day, and I had a call, and somebody say, Steven, and they asked me a question, and I felt it was kind of odd because they were like, oh, this so-and-so, and I could hear people in the background, and they're like, so you knew Fisher? And I'm like, yeah, I knew him from the Red Rowdies. Oh, okay, that's all we wanted to know. Click. And I was like, okay, something's odd about that, because why would you call me just out of the blues to ask me a question like that? Okay, that means y'all motherfuckers were talking about me. Well, I mean, I could say, well, I could act a fool and say, what the fuck was y'all talking about? But then again, I could be like, well, they could be just being nice. But then again, maybe it's both. I don't know. But either way, I could get angry. I could show out, act a clown. But I just said, what's the point? I might as well just ignore it and just go about it. It's just better. It's actually a lot healthier. You just ignore it. Even if they're talking shit about you, just let it go. And don't get involved in gossip chamber talks yourself, because you look just as guilty as the other people that did it to you, because you're now joining. And it's not like, we kind of live in this revenge society where it's like, well, I did it to you. You did it to me. So I'm going to do it back to you. And we're even. It's like, no, both of you now are pieces of shit because you both had to stoop down to a low level now. So that makes you know, just because that person did it to you and then you do it back doesn't negate the fact that you did it. It doesn't make your retaliation look any less of two evils. It just makes you look just as guilty and that you were just finding a reason to jump in the party. Hey, the pool's warm. Hey, there's shit in the pool. The pool's warm. Everybody hop in. No, it's just best just ignore it and not get involved. So that way the fingers ain't pointing back at you because it's like a trap. It's like a bear trap. You know, it's a bear trap. It's just the truth, man. Exactly. Leon's catching on. Jimmy Haslam knows he will never make a profit. Eastern Ohio, Pennsylvania, best football area in USA. Yeah, according to Ohio State. You got, what is it? Don't y'all got Ohio, Miami, Ohio up there? Columbus Blue Jackets. Well, that's the hockey team, but still, yeah, you got Ohio State. You got the Cincinnati Bengals. Football's popular up there. I'm not saying it's not. Now let's go ahead. Broncos had Bobby Humphrey beat the Browns. Mile High. They got slaughtered 24 by Montana. Yep, minding your own business. Yep. The reason why I say this is because, like, I go on YouTube a lot, and I'm sure Leon knows this, but it happens. Like, I've seen this in the wrestling community. I've seen this in the football trash talk circle. I've seen this in other forms of communities where people engage. Because at the end of the day, you're all humans. So it doesn't matter what, like, form you're part of. It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to, what's the word I want to use? Sorry about that. I'm trying to focus. It's going to happen no matter, like, what form you're in, it's going to happen. Just the point is you want to refrain yourself from these conversations. I'm telling you, man. It's just, and especially these people do it on YouTube because they're recorded and all the recordings are there. And then the other guy will confront him and say, "Hey, I heard you talking shit about me." And they'll say, "I didn't say it." And then the whole thing's on the previous live stream. And then the week later, the other groups will talk shit about the other guy that did the confrontation. So now it's his turn to get confronted. And it's just a back and forth. And it's just, like all these confrontations going on every single day. And it's like even people in the same group, they will fight amongst each other. But they're supposed to be on the same team or the same, side or whatever the case may be. And it's like, then that happens and it's just like, it's just, not a healthy, people are still going to do whatever they want at the end of the day. Like, regardless of what I'm saying now is irrelevant. Like, people are just going to say, I'm going to do whatever I want to, fuck you, and that's okay. Like, they can, go and talk shit and drama and stuff. That's fine. But my opinion, I just think it's not healthy. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, JWO Leon, I agree. He will always make a profit. Yeah, even when the products are shitty, Haslam knows his profits guarantee people need fuel. Football fans need football. Well, yeah, I think he's a terrible businessman, but that's just my opinion. But at the end of the day, as long as the fans are going to show up to the games, then the fans are equally just as to blame. That's just my opinion to the matter. I mainly see this at work, but I also see this on YouTube particularly. That's why I just felt it was important to make this video. It's just best to just avoid the gossip talk and just, avoid the gossip, avoid the drama. I get it. You may have a debate with somebody about, a political stance, or you may have there's a difference between like a debate, maybe even that got a mishanded, or if, but it's another thing to just gossip about other people, especially when they're not there to defend themselves. It just makes you look like a scumbag. It does. Because especially like it would be one thing if, let's say, the person was in the chat room and everybody started grilling him, and it's like, okay, that's expected because he's there, he could defend himself or whatever. But it's another thing when like 90% of the time or 95% of the time that this stuff is taking place, what's that? They're never there to defend themselves. They're not there, or at least not even to defend themselves necessarily, but just to have a response, or at least to know that this is taking place. The fact that they're not there to defend themselves, it kind of makes it look worse on the party of five who are gossiping. It's just not healthy, man. Yeah, he is a scumbag. You're talking about Haslam, right? From the business perspective, yeah, he's a terrible business owner. And I've worked for business owners that were like Jimmy Haslam. I personally worked for owners that were ripping off their employees and breaking the rules of the contract and just making bad business decisions and underbidding jobs and losing money. Absolutely. And I just thought that I just would make this a video about this. I didn't say I was going to be on here for all night, but I did, just kind of want to voice my opinion about this subject matter. Get it out there. But in other news, I'm going to have my Halloween show still next week. You guys can come on my live stream. We'll do a Halloween countdown on Wednesday, starting at 11 o'clock, the last hour of before Halloween. And I'll have the whole room decked out with the lights up and the flashing lights on. Y'all are going to see all that on the 30th next week. It's going to be Thursday coming up, so we'll be officially 7 days away. So I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to Halloween this year, man. That's the fact that I took the time to set my whole room up, and made the lights look cool and everything, and got the jack-o'-lantern, got the theory over there with the it. And I got my whole lights and stuff over here. Look, I even put I got a green and a red light in there. I just don't have the red light on. I just got a green light on over here. So yeah, I got my whole room just decked out, man. I'm ready for the holiday spirit. Uh, hey, Leon. Yeah, I figured this year I'd do something different. I would bring Halloween in my room, man, and make I'm too old to go fucking trick or treating and shit, but I put the lights up and got the pumpkin, and I got a jack o' lantern over there. But man, I thought, why not bring Halloween here, man, and just make my room just get that Halloween film, man. Thanks, Leon. That's what's up. Yeah, it's been a while, man, and like I said, it's just best not to get involved in that shit, man. I get it. It's hard not to. I mean, it's easy to get involved, because everybody else is doing it, right? Like, you got 10 people in the room, right? 9 people are gossiping. And it's usually about somebody who's not there to defend themselves. And I can guarantee you half the shit, they're just making shit up. And then, of course, you want to make time go by. You want to make yourself look cool. I get it. Slip ups here or there. And you want to be a part of a conversation because you feel like you're part of a team or a big group of people. But at the end of the day, it don't matter, because sooner or later, your name's they're gonna talk shit about you. Just matter of time. It's not a matter if, really, it's a matter of when. They're just gonna do the same thing. So it's just, again, it's better to not get involved, because then they're like, many times I'll have somebody come up to me and say, this person said this about you. And then the person that was the accuser will come up to you and say, this person said this about you. And then it'll be the person who came up to you and said this person did this. And it's just like, so now you got to charge up the first person who came up. Then you got to charge up the second person who came up. And it's just not healthy, man. It's not a productive way to to conduct yourself like professionally. Just saying. Room looks good. Appreciate it, man. Like I said, I got a red light right here. I just haven't turned it on yet. But wait till I get all the other stuff. Like till I turn the red light on and get the. I'm gonna make this room decked out on the 11th, man. I'm gonna have a nice little 4-hour show that day too. It's gonna be real nice. Really like a 4 or 5 hour show, easily, easily a 5 hour show, man. But it is what it is. That's life. People are gonna be people. It doesn't necessarily matter. They're not gonna listen. People are not gonna listen. People are hard headed. So it's not a matter if, it's a matter when. Like my supervisor told me, your name comes up a lot at this job. I'm like, okay, what is it about me? I said, good or bad? He said, both. I said, okay, so what's the bad stuff? Oh, well, you bring up politics too much. Okay, but so does everyone else. And he goes, well, they say you OCD about it. Okay, all right, that's fine. I just won't talk about it no more. And then he said, yeah, and then the other stuff they made up, and he told me some ridiculous stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not true. I didn't say that, or I didn't do that. And so that's when I was like, damn, motherfuckers be adding shit in to try to boil the pot up. Like they'll just add shit in. And it's like, you could easily charge somebody up and say, I heard this or that, but what point is it gonna do you? They'll just deny it and say, I didn't say that. No, it's this person that said this, and it's just unhealthy. It's just better just to say, okay, let them talk. They want to pass the day on. My name got drawn out of the hat. Fuck it. 8 hours. I guess at least somebody's thinking about me. And that's what I told my supervisor. I said, at least somebody's thinking about me here. I mean, I thought shit, I was the only motherfucker here thinking about myself. It's good to know that I'm on somebody's mind for free. Oh, it's beautiful. It ain't even a point to charging a motherfucker up. What's the point? You don't have to do that everywhere you go. It ain't never gonna stop. And it's gonna happen. Shit, they'll probably gossip about you after you done charged them up. Yeah, I got time for that shit. You're gonna be spending the rest of your life trying to be charging motherfuckers up over some shit that's half true anyway, and then it's just, what's the point? You would just say, I just told my supervisor, at least somebody's thinking about me, shit, because here I go, was thinking I wasn't that important. I thought it was just another speck on the map. And here it goes. At least somebody's thinking about me. Shit, that's not bad. Somebody's has me on their thoughts and minds that they can't stop thinking about me. So maybe that's a blessing. Maybe I should look at it as a positive thing. And so I just started laughing. And it is what it is. That's just life. I think the more you don't care about it, the easier it is to just adapt and just say fuck it. You know. You know? That's just life. People are going to talk shit. It's just better if you don't get involved. You get involved and it makes you look bad because then they're going to be like, well, what about you? You said this. And it's like, uh, maybe it's just better if they talk shit about you in person. That'll never happen. It'll never happen. That's never the case, Marvin. That's what gossip's all about. Oh shit. Control and supervision. Yeah, I used to do security. I don't do security anymore. I did security for a year. Yeah, you do get to know a lot of people. Absolutely. Absolutely. And anyways, yeah, I just thought that I would get that off my mind. That's all. So was I talking my head off too much? I almost went on here for an hour. Ooh. I think I said everything I had to say. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna head to sleep because I'm tired, and I said everything I had to say. So I'm out of here. Bye.